Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in this show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong and Associates, one of the attorneys that has more experience in the United States of America in the matter of immigration, over 46 years working on this field and helping thousands of families every single year. We have a lot of comments that come in every single day on our website, on our Facebook, in English, in Spanish, and I think in Mandarin or Cantonese is one Facebook page as well. So you can find any information that you need, and you can ask the attorney Margaret W. Wong about what you need to know regarding to immigration. So if you have any questions today, please write it down, and the attorney Margaret W. Wong will be answering your question today. It's absolutely free, and we are live right now when it is 12:36 p.m. in the east of the United States of America. So thank you so much, attorney Margaret W. Wong, for having me today. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, I would like to start by asking about the immigration for not only for Mexico or Guatemala or people from South America, but also people that want to come through Canada, the Canada border. And I know that a lot of people from India or Bangladesh or even African countries are trying to make it through Canada. What is different between the two borders?
It's very, very different. But Canadian citizens to come to America, they don't need a visa. They just have to fly through the airports, and Canadian airports are pre-inspection, like Toronto. They already check your visa, and then you can come to America, but they don't need a visa for Canadian citizens. For Mexican nationals and passport holders, you need a visa. So they either come on that BCC. In the olden days, it's called BCCC. Now it's called BCC. There are two types of border crossing for Mexicans. One is just a card, multiple 10 years. Another one is a visa stamp in the passport. So Canadians, Mexicans are very different. On the other hand, the sameness is both could get TN visa, the free trade visa. Both could do the e-visa, which is investment. But for Canadian to invest and get an e-visa in America, it takes at least 120, 150, 200,000. For Mexicans to invest in America with an e-visa, you need maybe only 40 to 60,000. You should get it approved. So there is a lot of difference when it comes to visas, countries, entry documents, and stuff like that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer and for these comments that we are starting today with this show. If you have any questions, please write it down, or if you need more information, call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The first question is from Renuka Goyal. My mother's valid U.S. tourist visa was canceled when she was prevented from boarding her flight from India to the United States this year. This happened due to an error in the airline's records, wrongly indicating that an overstay during her previous visit. Despite correcting this mistake with U.S. border and customs,
okay, you cannot expedite it. It's sad, but look at the cancellation. Sometimes they cancel your multiple tourist visa, but look at the number on it. They revoked it. Normally, it's not the airlines. I'm sorry you blame the airlines, but it's not the airline records. It's more the CBP records or it's the border records. So you had corrected it. So I think what you need to do is to write down on what happened. Maybe go to there's a public complaint now on the, so you go on the CBP web, there's a public complaint, put a complaint there, print the complaint, and when you, so immediately, like tonight or tomorrow, she's there now, you should not do it, let her do it, or someone there do it for her, do the DS-160, pay the bill. Right now, it's not that hard to get another tourist visa, but explain all that. So I don't think you can use the Dropbox anymore because the visa, so they could have withdrawn admission, they could have revoked, they could have canceled. So it depends on what happened. I would file the complaint and hurry up and get a tourist visa. There's no way to expedite it. I would not ask for expedite because for you and I, it's their mistake, but there may be other reasons, you know. And I always tell my clients, you have to make sure at time of entry, don't have social media saying you're going to stay here for a long time. Don't have social media saying you have a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend, you plan to get married, because they will look at social media. They will also grab your cell phone or grab your purse. So if you plan to, for example, get a green card, I know your mother is not, so don't bring birth certificate and marriage certificate in your purse or even in your bags. Don't bring a resume in your laptop and you brought the laptop. So these are little things that just be careful when you cross. Now it depends also on the airport. Some airports are just mean. I would not expedite. I'm very sorry this happened, but hurry up and file a complaint. We have cases where it took them 3 years to agree with us, but file the complaint, go get a new tourist visa. That's the way to do it. I would not ask for expedite because even though it's their mistake, our mistake, whoever mistake, 214B is very, very broad. They normally deny because, and also your mother is probably older. She's not going to stay here illegally working. There may be other reasons. These people are nuts at the airport. Sometimes they have a bad day, they had a bad argument with their spouses. Now they deny our visa. You know, who knows?
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your answer. And some people are asking if we do the show in Spanish. Yes, we do the show in Spanish. Hacemos el show en español los miércoles a las 9:30 de la mañana. Así que conéctese. Ahí le acabamos de enviar el link del Facebook de la abogada en español. Entre ese link, siga la página y le aparecerán las notificaciones los días miércoles cuando estemos en vivo a las 9:30 de la mañana. Let's go in English. Let's keep going in English. And the next question comes from Patel. We applied for asylum in February 2017. Interview has not come yet. How long can interview come?
Yeah, depends. You are lucky because that's exactly when Trump came on and Obama left. A lot of interviews are not taking place in 2016, 2015, 2017. The reason is that when Obama was here is less in, less out or something. That means, so for example, you filed in 2014, you get an interview in 2015, so they go online. Trump changed it. Trump said whoever filed asylum first would get the interview first. So there was a line between like 2016 to 2017, 2018. Those people are forgotten because they just think. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, especially you're from India, because it's hard to get asylum approval in India. So sometimes it's good. You get your work permit every 2 years. You wait and you buy some time. Now, immigration doesn't like that because they don't want us to game the system and use asylum just to get work permit. But if you really think you'll win, I'm a lawyer. My job is to win cases. You know, it's not for psychological to make you feel better. If you really feel you have a great case, you want to win, you could win it, then push the case. If you don't think you could win it, don't push it, because the whole job is, why do you want to push a case? Also, if you file within 1 year, if it's more than 1 year, is a problem. The 1 year rule really started on January 1st of 1994, but since then that rule is taken pretty seriously. There was a time, like even 10 years ago, the 1 year rule, you can always find exceptional, extraordinary circumstances. Now the 1 year rule is pretty tough. So if you did not file within a year, I would not push this case, because asylum office normally doesn't grant. I mean, in fact, it's not normal. They mostly don't grant. Now you have to go to court. Once you go to court, it's pretty fast. So I would not push it. I mean, if I were you, it depends on the case.
Okay. Yes. And what about people that have more time waiting? Since 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
A lot
We
of
can
time.
push it. I won't push it. Depends on what state you are, because we have circuit ride. Like Atlanta, even though they have a big immigration office, they circuit ride to Virginia. Ohio is going through asylum when it comes to, I mean, Chicago for asylum, Detroit when it goes to court. So it's a lot of like circuit ride cases. It's just fun what we do. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget that you can call the phone number 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the attorney Margaret W. Wong with over 46 years of experience working on the immigration field, helping families across the United States of America, and even bringing people from overseas that have family petitions or other kind of petitions that are trying to help people get together and reunite in the United States. Let's read the next question. Hi, I am from the Philippines. I practice box. My idol is Manny Pacquiao. How can I get a sports visa because I want to come to the United States and become a professional?
Okay, that's a very good question. You may qualify for an O visa, a P3 visa, a P1. So if you have, you don't need like international awards, but O1 is not that difficult lately, especially for STEM, for science. O1 is not that hard. You can actually come on a tourist visa and then go into a student visa and learn, and do better. Or you can do an O visa if you are sort of very good. You don't need to be that good, but you have to be sort of like at the top 10% of the boxing only in Philippines. You have to be international or nationally known. You don't have to be both.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And how long does it take for
5
an O
months.
visa? 5 months.
5 months. You can do expedite. I would not do expedite. 5 to 7 months, 4.5 to. We just got some cooks approved, chef O visa approved because they're pretty famous. The problem with becoming a chef, different from a boxer, is boxer is a lonely sport. You box, you win. But chef, like for example, to work on these cruises, Princess Cruise, whatever. So the cruise line may have 5-star cuisine or something, but it's really not you because there are hundreds of chefs. So or restaurants. So they normally don't list the chef in the restaurant. They say the restaurant. So we have to prove one of those people is you. So that's a problem with cooks. So it depends on the job. But O visa is not that hard lately because President Biden knows that, we need workers here, especially special qualifications.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for your answer. And the next question is, how long does it take for USCIS to make a decision after a response to RFE?
3 weeks to 4 or 5 months. 730 is an interesting case. It should only take 3 weeks to 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's 730 is when you win asylum and
the family, right?
You ask for your family,
right?
That's good.
Right. The major thing about 730 is, for example, I'm in a refugee camp, especially in the Middle East. There's really no marriage. You do some local custom and it became marriage. So in the eyes of Western law, you're not really married. So now, actually, Biden just came up with new rule about if you Google USCIS.gov for refugees, even if you don't have a proper marriage, if you can prove you really are married, you get the 730. I don't know if this is your case, but there was something new that just came out on emergency refugee stuff because it's hard to get married on a refugee camp.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And the next question is coming in Spanish. They say that they speak English. So the question is, I have problems with my visa, and I would like for you to help me. And I will explain. I have problems with my Venezuelan passport that was expired while I was in the United States, and I couldn't leave the country in the determined time for immigration. And I left 5 months later when I received my new passport by mail. Um, is there anything that I can do or that you can do for me uh, to get my
So number
uh,
one, what visa was he on? Number two, I wonder why did he leave? Because once you leave, you're no longer in the jurisdiction of Homeland Security. So the question then becomes number one, why did you leave? Number two, I presume you want to come back. So maybe do the family reunification I-134A, but I would think you qualify for the TPS, right, Mr. Juan Carlos? So he
uh,
would have qualified for the TPS if he stayed, but I presume he left. His passport now is good. How did he come back, right? That's the question.
yeah, actually, I don't know when this person was here in the United States. I presume that they left before March the 8th, 2021, and that's probably the reason why they don't qualify for TPS. So I guess they entered on a B1, B2 visa, and then the pandemic came. Probably that's the reason that they overstayed the visa for 5 months and they were waiting for the passport. So um, it's an overstay for 5 months. So
Right.
they are not
So I
letting them.
won't worry about it. There's no more American embassy in Venezuela. There's no more passports. So whatever you do, maybe go to another country, apply for a new visa, but you could come back on the family reunification. Family reunification I-134A is very different from tourist visa. Tourist visa is you have no ties to America. All your ties are in home country. I-134A, especially if you have family in America, put everybody down. My mother, my father, my sister, my cousin, my uncle, put it down. The more family you have here, my gut is it's easier to do I-134A. And also the kiosk, the CBP one.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And we have a lot of questions in our Facebook inbox. And well, we already had this one on our show. And Graciela is asking, she wants to have a consultation. Of course, you can have a consultation with the attorney Margaret W. Wong. The phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you need to call in order to talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong. Robin is asking, can I apply for advanced parole from two sites when one is pending, one from U visa and the other is from TPS? And can I travel if either one gets approved?
Yes, you can travel with either one get approved. I would think it's easier to get TPS parole than U visa parole, but no problem. You can travel if either one is approved, and I don't see a problem. I would do TPS or do. You should only apply for one. Don't get them confused, because sometimes if it's two, they'll use the wrong receipt number. I don't see a problem. Go for it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget that the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question that we are getting is, I am married to an U.S. citizen and I have two daughters. He wants to file for me and they are 14 and 16. Can he apply
Yes.
or include
I
their
would file 3 I-130s if the daughter and you are all in America and you all came legally. I would file, because a green card holder need only file one I-130 and you can bring all the children and one interview. But for citizen to file for stepchildren under the age of 18 and you, I would file 3 I-130, 1 I-130A, 3 485. If the daughter is only 12 and 16, right, it's under the 12-year-old check if you need a fingerprint, because if you send in the total 1225, they'll bounce back. I think the 12-year-old, you don't even need to send the $85. So I would write 3 checks for the I-130, 3 checks for the 485, put each on top of each, and double check the 12-year-old to see if you need fingerprints. Because if you do the wrong check, they'll bounce the whole family back, which is a pain in the neck.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. The next question is very interesting. Well, it's very simple, but it's about time. How long does a PERM take to be approved?
1.5 years. Okay. This is a good question. So PERM is 3-step. Number one, prevailing wage, 7 months. Advertising, 90 days to 180 days. The filing of the PERM now, after filing, is 7 months. So the whole case would take up to 1.5 years. But you can always ask for expeditious handling on the I-140. That takes only 3 weeks. But the PERM itself, after the filing of the forms, it takes 7 months. But the whole process of the PERM is 7 months plus 3 months plus 7 months.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And the next question is, as a military spouse gets military ID, so does it count as a real ID for travel within the United States?
That I don't know the answer, because that's more Real ID Act. As long as you have military spouse, which means that you should have PIP, you should immediately get the green card and a work permit. So it's a Real ID Act. I would think you can travel, because you should be able to get a driver's license, a pass. You can travel actually in America with a passport. You don't need a military spouse. Never depend on a spouse when you don't have to. That's always my motto. But since your spouse is military, get the PIP if you enter America illegally. Hurry up, and once you get the PIP, file for adjustment of status, as long as you have no PERM bar. But you can travel with a passport. You don't need all this stuff.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong has offices in 9 cities of the United States, in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just one, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Other 2 questions that are very interesting, Ms. Wong, is what about 2 misdemeanor charges, fraud less than $200 in the first 5 years of acquiring my green card? Would it be harmful for my citizenship application?
2 answers. If you're married to a citizen, you need only 3 years of good moral character. If you're not married to a citizen, you need 5 years. My answer to that, not knowing what the criminal charges are, don't assume they're all CIMT. I would file citizenship more than 5 years or more than 3 years after the last misdemeanor charge. That's the first thing. I don't assume because they're misdemeanor criminal records that you may be picked up. Actually, that's a good question, because the question is, I have 2 criminal records. They're all fraud because it may go under the exceptional circumstances. So, but I would not file for citizenship unless 5 years after the last one. After the arrest date, the act, not the probation. So for example, I finished my probation 2 years ago, but I was arrested 5 years ago, and that was not my last. So you can file the N400 5 years from the date of the act, not the date of arrest, not the day of conviction, not the day of end of probation, and not the day of the fine.
Ms. Wong, in this case, for example, if a person is waiting for asylum and has, I don't know if it's a misdemeanor, but has been arrested for simple battery or something related to domestic violence, and they are on the time to apply for work permit. And if they go to the court and in the court they say that there is nothing in the system because the charges were removed from the victim, do they still need to put that they have criminal charges?
100%. On the form, they ask, were you ever cited, arrested, pled guilty to, or did any bad acts? So you underline cited, and then down there you say dismissed. You still need a certified judgment entry of dismissal. Absolutely say it. Otherwise, the immigration is weird. If you don't say something, they think we have lied. But we just don't understand, because in most foreign countries, it's not like in America, they always take fingerprints. Once you go to the police station, so that's a form of arrest, is they take fingerprints. In overseas, a lot of times they question us, and that's arrest. It's no fingerprints. So each country is different, one definition of arrest.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, Jimmy, if you need more information, just give us a call. The phone number is 216 279 3984. 216 279 3984. For Salvadorians, TPSS is extended until June 2024.
Yes, you need to re-register, but the automatic is an automatic. It sounds weird, but please re-register. You have to re-register. Yes,
How
just go
do
on the USCIS and re-register, but the work permit is automatic, which means that you should be able to still get a driver's license up to the automatic date, but you absolutely have to re-register because of the whole Trump-Biden conflict and Obama conflict.
Okay, perfect. So you need to go and re-register on USCIS. Just find a TPS or the Salvadorian's TPS, and you will find all the information right there. Because well, our time is up for today. But is there something else that you want to add to today's show?
Yes, I do, because I've been thinking about every time I answer these questions, I say, oh, Margaret, you are becoming a pretty good lawyer. But I really want the listeners to know it takes years and years. Whatever profession you are in, you may be a construction worker, you may be a drywall person, you may be an electrician, you may be a lawyer, a doctor, a CPA. It takes more than 10, 20, 30 years to be really a great person. So I don't, a lawyer or accountant or whatever you are. So please don't assume when someone makes it that easy, because I was listening to myself say, well, you're okay, you're not as bad as you were 30 years ago. But I just want everybody to really work hard. And that's what immigrants like us do. We come to America not to get on their welfare, not to not pay tax, not to go to jail, not to get a DUI, but really we come to America to become who we want to be. Because a lot of times in overseas countries, your caste system, that you are fixed. Like my parents are writers and more scholarly. You're always stuck in the lower level of society because you're not rich. In America, you get to do whatever you want to do. Like you can be a boxer, you can be anything, but how do you get here? And after you get here, what do you do? It does take 5 years to know America, to know the culture, but it does take 10, 15, 20, 30 years to become great. So, but that's my thought for today.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Beautiful thought, and we know that you are always trying to help as much as you can to all of the immigrants in the United States of America. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Looking forward to see you next week, and well, hopefully we're gonna have an awesome show just like today, and people will have more questions, and you will have always answers for the people that join us in the show in Spanish or in English. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and have a good lunch.
Thank you.
Take some time to have lunch because I know that you work straight down until 6, 7 p.m. from 5 a.m. and you don't eat nothing. So you need to eat. That's because you are passionate. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And for everybody who has joined us today, don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Attorney Margaret W. Wong, over 46 years of experience working for the immigrants and helping thousands of families to get a relief in the United States. Thank you so much and see you next time.